Hey everyone, this is my review for the 9th episode of the second season of Batwoman titled Rule Number 1. The description for the episode says Batwoman confronts Gotham's biggest foe. New information forces those closest to Kate to make some difficult decisions. Ryan's feelings for Angie put her partnership with Luke and Mary at risk, and Alice goes down memory lane. I'm starting to think it's funny that as much as Caroline Dreiss insists that they're not going to polar bear your gays, the show keeps proving her wrong. The episode literally started with the characters burying a gay. From what I saw on Twitter, this was a pretty accurate Jewish funeral. It's so weird that they waited until Kate died to give proper Jewish representation. Ryan gave a monologue about how she's always lost everything good in her life, but now she gets to be the one and only Batwoman. But that's not true, because we finally saw that Kate was being held captive by Black Mask this whole time. Even though Rachel was great, like she always is, Alice had the weakest storyline this week. Caroline said that there would be a 1-month time skip because no one wants to see the characters grieve. But isn't that basically what we're getting with Alice? She went back to the card ride home and had visions of young Kate. They mentioned that Alice never gets what she wants. Her family left her 2 times, she lost Ocean 2 times, and now she lost Kate again. After realizing she was having a psychotic break, Alice finally decided to deal with her grief after all these years. So it seems like she's gonna pull some sort of WandaVision and create a fake world where Kate never existed in her mind. At least she finally has a story that doesn't revolve around a man. Now for the good part, Angie was trying to come back into Ryan's life and claimed she finally wanted to get her shit together and get out of the gang. Now that Ocean was gone, Black Mask wanted Angie to make Snakebite, so she wanted to get out before it was too late, but unfortunately it was already too late. I've shipped them and I think they have great chemistry, but this episode showed that Ryan and Angie's relationship is toxic. Angie is dependent on Ryan, which is already bad, but the problem is that she can't get her shit together, so she constantly drags Ryan down with her. It's like Angie is an addict who always says she's gonna get better in order to win Ryan back, but she never does. And Ryan is stuck in this never-ending cycle because she loves her. The tragic part is that throughout their childhoods, they were always there for each other when no one else was, but now if Ryan lets Angie back into her life, she's gonna lose all the progress she's made. Cora gave Ryan the chance to prove that she was put on this world for bigger things. Angie never had that and was stuck in the foster care to prison pipeline. Ryan's finally in a good place, but to keep that she needs to let go of the love of her life. Although not as extreme, there are parallels to Kate and Alice's relationship. Kate always defended her no matter what because she was holding on to the image of Bev. Ryan keeps giving Angie a chance because she's held on to the Angie that protected her when they were kids, but now all she does is put her in danger. Angie became an accessory to murder after driving the getaway van when the False Face Society killed the commissioner, although they kinda did the city a favor. The 2 best scenes of the episode were definitely Ryan confronting Angie and Mary confronting Ryan. Javicia and Nicole really got to shine. Mary recognized the parallel with Kate and Alice, so she called Ryan out on it, and I love her line that no one is ever Alice until they are because someone let them be. That was so good. Fortunately, Angie listened to Ryan's advice and asked for Batwoman's help, but by the time Ryan showed up, Black Mask had already taken her to show her that just like with every other evil organization, the only way to get out of the False Face Society is death. Luckily, her Scarlet Knight and shining armor came to save her, and we finally got a fight scene with Javicia using the bow staff like she kept teasing. I loved it. It's kinda ironic that they were making fun of Batman 66 last episode because I thought of that show when Black Mask had Ryan tied up to kill her. But that show definitely wouldn't have had the scene of Black Mask ripping that guy in half. Damn, this man is so menacing and brutal. He was planning on doing the same to Ryan, but Sophie came to save her at the last minute, kinda becoming a pattern, and Batwoman saved Angie. Then, when Crowley was questioning her, Angie confessed to killing the commissioner even though Crowley promised her she would protect her because she recognized the toxic part of their relationship and she took the blame in order to protect Ryan from her. The events of the episode led to Ryan creating 3 rules for the Bat Team: support, accountability, and rule number 1, stand for something bigger. I love this idea. It makes them an official team, and it's basically what people always criticize about Bruce Wayne. He's trying to take down crime by beating criminals as the Batman, but he's a millionaire who could provide real change by preventing crime before it starts. Even though she's poor, that's exactly what Ryan is going to do by helping Crowley's sister open a community center so kids have support and don't end up like Angie. And yes, they have Mary's money to do this. Speaking of her, we met the superior Moore sister, Jordan. The whole time I was so confused about what their age gap is supposed to be and how old Jordan is. Also, some of her lines were a bit weird, but damn, I love this character. She's so relatable. She's such a badass with her activism, and she's already the icon her sister's never going to be. She'd been tagging the police station and witnessed the commissioner's death, but the camera footage was deleted, so Falseface wanted her dead because she knows it was them. Jordan tried to get Crowley's help, but of course, like the bootlicker she is, Crowley wanted to get her statement for the Crows, knowing full well that the Crows don't give a shit about POC and will immediately place the blame on Jordan just like they did to Ryan. Falseface came after them and Ryan saved them, but why does Ryan keep getting beat? She doesn't even have the kryptonite wound anymore. It made sense at first because she's an experienced, but she's a trained martial artist. It's as annoying as Stargirl, where it took Courtney the whole season to be able to fight. Jordan brought Crowley to the holdup to tell her that she accepts her because she knows this is a safe space. That was such a good moment between them. She doesn't know about Kate though, but I love how supportive she is and that she was trying to be Sophie's wing woman to get her with Ryan. Jordan also complained about Batwoman saving her and brought up an interesting point, which seemed to be the theme of the episode, All Bad Women Are Bastards. She thinks Batwoman is just another suit who shoots first and asks later. Meanwhile, Jordan is actually working to prevent crime by opening a community center to stop kids from falling into the school-to-prison pipeline. See, she's an icon. I get that Jordan doesn't know who Batwoman is, but I don't think this criticism makes sense for Ryan. She's not a millionaire like Bruce and Kate who have unlimited amounts of money that they could use to provide real change. Ryan is just a girl from the streets who had no power and is now trying to bring change the only way that she can. Kate was trying to provide homes for marginalized communities, even though she never did shit with her real estate thing, and I don't think they've ever said if Bruce did anything. It would be interesting to see if crime got worse after Bruce left. We know the Crows took down his villains, but was there anything Bruce did that's missing now? I do sorta agree with Jordan's criticism because that's basically Oliver. Then there's Team Flash imprisoning people without a trial, and we saw how Agent Liberty reacted to Supergirl's collateral damage and all of that. I was hoping we would get a scene like this, but with Ryan calling out the other Arrowverse heroes because she has a different perspective from them. After Angie was arrested, Jordan also brought up more issues with the justice system, and Crowfee actually seemed to agree, although this keeps on happening and then she goes back to being a bootlicker, so I don't know if I should call this progress. They set up an interesting dynamic between them. One of them is an activist fighting against any system that harms marginalized communities, especially POC, and then the other one is a woman of color that is a part of that system. The fact that Forbes told Jordan that if she wants change, she should run for his position, and then he died, makes me think that Sophie is going to end up running for commissioner. They always have characters run for political positions on CW. It's the obvious path for Crowfee, and at the same time, I could see Jacob dying soon, which leaves us with no connection to the Crows. However, Wallace's Kate could become the new leader of the Crows, taking the name Commander Kane, hopefully with a new suit, which allows Ryan to keep the Batwoman mantle, while Sophie and Kate work to fix these broken systems from within. They'd literally be a power couple. We were also introduced to our new big bad, Black Mask, played by Peter Outerbridge. People were complaining about the look, but after seeing him in action, I've gotta say he actually looks pretty good. I was worried because the false face mask looked horrible, but they actually put so much work into this one. I love all the detail. I just wish it would cover his ears and that the suit wasn't so baggy. His performance was good. My only problem is the voice. Does the mask make it sound like that, or is he forcing it because it sounds really weird? But I already love this man. He's really menacing, and I also understand his motivation. He reminds me of Prometheus, and there's a similar dynamic between him and Ryan. Instead of eat the rich, his motivation is defund the police. Keeping with the theme, all bad women are bastards, his daughter was wrongfully imprisoned by the Crows, and he believes that Kate killed her as Batwoman. He hates Ryan because she took up that symbol, the symbol that was never held accountable and represents the broken city. Even in his scene as Roman, we saw that he wants to prove that all systems can be corrupt, which is why there needs to be accountability for the people who claim to protect his city. Just like Jordan, he brings the light to the pain that superheroes cause without realizing it. The thing is that there's not much difference between him and Ryan, who was also wrongfully imprisoned and has suffered due to systematic racism. She fights to protect her community from these injustices when no one else will. The fourth episode is a perfect example of this. Black Mask is a dark reflection of Ryan, of what she could be if she took her fight in a different way. It sort of makes me root for Black Mask because he's willing to do what Ryan won't, but that's also why he's the villain. I love when there is this gray area, like in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where you can understand everyone's motivations and there's not a clear hero or villain. This was a really good introduction to Black Mask. They set up so much potential to make him one of the best Arrowverse antagonists. I just hope that they don't end up wasting it again like they did with Zephia. Speaking of her, we saw that like Katherine Hamilton for Alice and Zephia, Enigma is the connection between Black Mask and Zephia. Even though they buried a gay, Roman told Kate that it's time to make them believe in life after death. He's holding her accountable for her actions, and not only is he giving her a new face, but with Enigma's help, he's going to erase her memories of her past life as Kate Kane. This reminds me of Painkiller and Black Lightning, or of the Winter Soldier. Wallace will probably start out as an evil brainwashed Kate Kane, and eventually she'll get her memories back, but maybe she'll be too ashamed of her actions to ever take on the Batwoman mantle. Maybe Black Mask will use her to show the corruption of the upper class if they take some of his story from the comics, or he could use her to corrupt the Bat Team from within. Then she could try to make up for her actions by becoming Commander Kane and showing Black Mask that while systems can become corrupt, they can also be fixed. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they just turned her into some sort of Batwoman who laughs, because DC is so obsessed with that stupid character. There's a lot of potential for this storyline. It could be a parallel to Alice and Kate's dynamic last season. Both of them were held captive and presumed dead while their loved ones moved on, so now it's Kate's turn to be in Alice's place. Kate tried bringing Alice back to sanity and turning her into Beth. Now the roles could be reversed with Alice going on her redemption arc and making Wallace remember that she's Kate. Of course, the problem is that Alice also wants to forget her. Overall, I thought this was a really strong episode. It might be the best one of the season, or at least the second best. Like I said in my review for last episode, the show really shines during the mid-season finales, although this felt more like a mid-season premiere because the Zephia storyline had already been wrapped up and we moved into the Black Mask storyline. I think this episode proved that the show is at its best when it focuses on Ryan. Javicia is a great actress and this character has so much potential to explore. The best episodes this season have focused on Ryan and not Alice. I'm kinda worried about with Kate coming back because we're finally at a point where Ryan is the star of the show. She's Batwoman, and now Kate is going to take that away from her, just like Alice has been doing to both of them. Also, right-wingers always complained that season 1 was pushing an SJW agenda, but they literally never brought up anything close to politics. They just happened to have a lesbian lead. Now that Ryan is the lead, they've decided to take the show in a different direction and focus on or bring attention to more important and political topics such as ABWAB, the foster system to prison pipeline, and class issues, and it's really helped the show. I've loved what they've done so far. In fact, I wish they dealt with more issues. Like I said before, they could have focused on how Sophia was a woman fighting against colonizers, trying to take her country's biggest resource, while proving that you don't need the white man to succeed. Finally, this was an episode written by 2 women of color, Nancy Q and Maya Houston, who is a queer black woman just like Ryan. They did such a good job. I have so much praise for them, and this proves that we need diversity and representation in all parts of production, especially the writer's room. I read Maya's interview where she talked about her experience learning that a black woman was behind Grey's Anatomy, which inspired her because it made her see that she could be in that position one day. Now she gets to be that inspiration for someone else, especially if, let's say, eventually they make her the showrunner. Come on, CW. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for similar content. Please leave your thoughts on the video or the episode, what you thought about Black Mask, and what you think they'll do with Kate in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good day. Goodbye.